A very good afternoon, all over the world, because we are here with a very phenomenal speaker today. So, her name is Miss Novita, all the way from Indonesia. But before going into our today's speaker, I want to share a little bit about myself as well as why I started Crazy Geek. So, my name is Lavanya. I have a huge passion towards guiding students and teaching students. So, I am also an ACCA tutor for audit paper, F8 as well as P7 paper. So, that's a little bit about myself. But apart from this, why I actually started Crazy Geek last year was actually I saw there was a huge gap between what we actually study in college and school and what we actually apply at work. I'm not telling that colleges and schools are not doing a good job. They are doing a phenomenal job. But apart from that, as a student and also as a fresh graduate, you still need to do a lot of other things also. So one of the things that I wanted to share is my experiences as well as other speakers' experiences so that you can learn and grow together. That is the purpose of Crazy Geek. So let's welcome Miss Novita. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you, Miss Lavanya?
I am good. I am. We are all fine here from Malaysia. I hope you guys also find that. So
Yes, we are
yeah, you
fine.
want to talk a little bit about yourself, then we can dive into the session itself.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Indonesia, and in the in the around where there must be morning and afternoon. That's basically our time today. I am Novita Hasibuan from Indonesia. I've been working as a finance professional for 11 years, and my current position is as a head of finance in one of the big company in Indonesia. And talking about the student background, I was majoring from accounting from University of Indonesia, and recently I have been passing all of the ACCA exams and become a CCA member into 2021. So that's all.
That's super cool. I am so inspired with people like this because it's not easy to actually do the exam as well as work, but you have actually balanced it very well. Thank you so much for sharing your part. Now let's start with our very first question, which is there a gap between what you studied and what you applied at work? And if there is any, can you advise on how to bridge that?
All right. Well, if I flashback the time when I was studying my accounting in university or college. So basically, it's more into theoretical framework, conceptual framework, but it brings you to the ideal framework that you can have the benefit for the, I can say, like in the real working life. So mm, I can say that in the real working life, there must be some problems. For example, like the simple business case. So in the studying life that you already study about investment appraisal in the financial management, and
Okay.
it's all about how you appraise the investment and how to decide on in which this business case will be approved or not. That's the first sample. That okay, if it is profitable, then you can approve. So that's the thing. But then in a real working life, you may be kind of see there are other perspectives that you can take care on. For examples, in a year one, it's the business case is not profitable, but in year two and year three there must be profitable. So that's the beauty of kind of a discussion with business partners, and also think about how their perspective from sales, operation, logistic, marketing, or either the internal finance team, like finance, accounting, tax, and internal auditor, for example. So I think taking other parts of perspective that might be not so deeper studied when we were studying in studying life, but that kind of a sense of when you are taking other perspective and you make it more broader into make a decision of one business case, that is something that you will gain in the real working life. So if I can say how to bridge that, is that you need to more open to other perspective and update the information from macroeconomics, microeconomics, and as well, the perspective of the other function that I mentioned before, from sales, marketing, and the other departments, so that that kind of wider and broad mindset that you can take care on your real working life. So that's basically just the bridge between when you're studying and you when you are working. But basically, when you are studying, that's a conceptual framework that you can bring on when you are work in the real working life.
Okay, so it's like a kind of like your everything that you're studying in your books and things like that. It's gonna be a basis for you to use when
Yes.
you come for workplace. So that's
Yes.
what actually Miss Novita is. Uh, I would say concluding for the first question. Let's go
Yeah.
for our second question. What is the day-to-day scope for an accountant or finance senior? So since you are in finance line, so maybe you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, when I flashback when my first works in back 11 years ago when I was starting my career life. Yes, of course, as a accountant or as a finance at that point of time, you need to know all of the basic principles in the company. So if by day to day as accountant or as a finance staff, is that you are dealing with the routine job, of course. There must be some reconciliation, there must be some reporting, closing, month end closing, yearly closing, quarterly closing. That's kind of routine jobs that you need to know. If it doesn't necessarily that, oh, why I should do this, like this very routine job, but it needs you to know the basic principles before you take care on to the next steps. So that's basically the day to day. And talking about, because I've been working in the smaller size company, and as well for the public listed company. I've been also working in a public listed company in Indonesia, in Unilever, last 6 years ago. And in public listed company, of course, as an accountant, you are having some experiences in for example, in Indonesia, we have local legislations. So um, every transaction before during transactional in the sister company, intercompany transaction, etc., should be disclosed to our local legislation. And we have also the quarterly public announcement, public press to the public listed company, so something like that. So that's the how you gain in the public listed company. But when you are having a chance to the smaller size company, of course, in a smaller size company, there are two types of the company. The first one is the company that have advanced technology. So you are not supposed to kind of doing day to day reconciliation, etc., because the ERP system is already established. But they expect you to more analysis, so taking the accounts and then get the grab of the analytics itself. But for the smaller company that is not enhanced in the system, it expects you to be transactional. But it's okay. From that one, you can kind of looking at others perspective, making some ideas about how to make it more automatic, for example. So that's basically the day to day as a big, I can say, like beginner accountant or finance.
Okay, thank you so much, Novita, for your sharing. Definitely, this will give great insight for those who wants to start as a beginner in this field itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so my very third question, Miss Novita, how do we be creative at our work or job when some of our tasks are very mundane and monotonous?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I feel that also, even though I'm already 11 years in the working life, but I feel that also. Honestly speaking, um, maybe I can start from the okay. As a individual, you have to do extra miles. That's basically the mindset when I was starting my career life. So started from the purpose, started from the career goals and values that you want to achieve for the next futures. So it would help you to navigate to what you want to be. For example, for now, you are accountant.
Mm.
That's very straightforward. The jobs is very routine and monotonous, and it makes our sport, for example. But you know, if you think about, okay, I'm now accountant.
Mhm.
I have a career aspiration to be a finance controller for next 3 to 4 years, for example.
Okay.
So you think about, okay, how how is the finance controller would see when I'm doing my job, for example. So for example, for the balance sheet reconciliation, as an accountant, you just doing reconciliation and submit, and then your boss will be okay, this is the reconcile and everything is gonna be all right, something like that. But either even though when you are accountant, you see, if you are finance controller, what would you do when doing your balance sheet reconciliation, for example.
Okay.
You take into charge, like, oh, as a finance control, I would like to see the link between this account to this account, and look like, oh, there's a weird number, for example. If there is a weird number, you just liberate your minds, talk to your business partners, get get to know what is the reason behind that number, and then uh, yeah, basically talking and discussing to the business partner can make you more life in the work, in the working life. So I mean, it helps me a lot when I'm thinking like I'm a beard, like I'm a bored in a doing monotonous job, but in a way, in another way, that if I see myself like now I'm doing this, but how I can be the next steps. So it helps me to be more creative in the working life, and then as especially navigate me to the my career progression, for example.
Mm.
So I can say, yeah, just you just need now to think about what is your career aspiration, what is your career life. Think
Mm.
about, for now, even though you are doing monotonous job, but you think about the next step. So then your if you're doing now, it's not so bored, because you know that it is what you can do extra must be outside of this job, something like that, Miss Lavanya.
Okay, okay. That actually sums up very beautifully, Miss Novita. Because I think I also have gone through that. But in the beginning, I also felt like the bank reconciliation. Oh my God, it's monthly bank reconciliation. Just just tick 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 that kind of thing only. So I
Yeah,
don't feel very exciting. But then, as I grow in the career itself, or the more number of years I am in that industry, bank is one of the most important element,
exactly.
extremely
Yes.
important. And a lot of things actually we take note from that, like especially in terms of anti money laundering and everything, which we have covered in audit. And
Yeah.
at the bank is the best place for you to actually see how is the pattern like and everything. So I think seeing where you want to go in the next 3 to 4 years, or next 5 years, that will really help because you will see things differently. uh,
Yes.
yes,
Correct.
I totally agree with you, Miss Novita. Let's go to the next one. It is very similar to our second question, but maybe Miss Novita can make it in a very summary into 2 to 3 points, kind of thing. The difference between a finance person and an accountant.
All right. I think because I was starting my career more into finance. I don't know why, but I was having a kind of before I enter my working life in when I was in university. I was have a dreaming to be an auditor. I was have a dreaming to be a partner. But in when I was graduating, and yeah, basically I was having a chance to be a finance, more into finance, not the audits or
Mhm.
accountant, for example.
Mhm.
So maybe I can say that the difference between finance senior and accountant. Okay, for accountant, it's very straightforward that you are the controller. So
Okay.
you are supposed to be the controller of the company, even though you are still like junior accountant, but you are supposed to be the controller of the company. You are, you take care on the all of the accounts are booked properly, all of the transactions are fully disclosed.
Mm.
So that's basically the role of accountant. So if I can say that I'm really, kind of sad if someone from accountant just look at the one side and then doing all only for only for the journal in the month and closing, etc., without without having a responsibility on on controlling. That's, I think, it's a very it's very sad to know that kind of mindset. But for accountant, you have to take charge of the control on the controlling side. And for the finance senior, I can say that is a next step level. Next step level in terms of um, yeah, you have to be into you have to have the strong business acumen.
Mm.
You are now taking in charge to discuss with your business partners, taking in charge into the decision makers of the company. So that's basically the difference between the accountant and finance senior. But I can say that the typical works is actually the same. For example, like finance senior, you are also will be the controlling sides, but more into the business partnering in the sense of that. So that, I think, the key difference of finance senior and accountant.
Yeah, very, very nicely said, Miss Novita. Because now many students actually read it theoretically the difference between finance person and an accountant. But
Yeah.
when you explain in a very practical way, that's where actually students can really understand kind of thing. So thank you so much for sharing that. My next question is, what's the one thing in university or college the students can do now to gain the practical experience?
Well, compared to my last 11 to 14 to 15 years ago, I think the information is not so, kind of open information, and you can search all of the things that you want in the internet, or even in the that's, I can say that not so limited, but you have to have you need to have an extra words to gain to access that information. But for now, you can access all of the information about internship. You can have you are even you can go to outside of your country if you want to have internship abroad of the country. So I think, you know um you can choose, either you are going to internship, either you can join an early startup company, because there are lots of things that you can have more experience in if you are joining startup, even though you are still in the student life for now. So, and also you can become like, the CFO of some communities. For example, you are joining you're joining the camps like a campus community, or we are having some of sustainability community, something like that. You
Okay.
can be a say CFO from that community, and then um, you can gain also the practical experience before you are in the real working life. So that's, I
Mm.
think, just get all of those information. Now the information is all there, and just liberate your minds to get the change, because you just still, as a student now, still young, and there is no limitation to hold you from that kind of your career goals, or your practical life goals, something like that.
Thank you so much. So internship, I think one of the interesting one you said is overseas internship, because now
Yeah,
during this pandemic you can work from home, but you are working for an
yeah,
international company. Yeah,
yes,
that's amazing. Because last time it is always like I need to go over there, I need to
visa.
travel. Yeah, but now it's like just from your home you are already working in another country's firm.
Yes.
So yeah, that's mind blowing. So I think that is one of the takeaway which every student can take, which will definitely help you in your career. My very last question, Miss Novita, before we end today's session, share with us your one mistake that you were made when you were younger, but the adult you now would want to change it.
Yeah, very good question. Okay, I would take for two experience that I have. The first one is when I was in the university, in the University of Indonesia, and when I was also having a chance to studying and working together in ACCA.
Okay.
So the one mistake that I was just like aware that, oh, that's a mistake that I was doing when in the university life, is that in university life, I have I have the goal target to pass only three and a half years. So normally it's 4 years, and I have a goal target. Okay, I will pass like in the 3 and 5 years, and um you know um push myself to get more credits compared to the other students in one semester,
Mhm.
and would have little chance to have practical experience at the time, because I was just focusing on finishing myself, finishing the studying life, and then soon I will be in the working life. So I think the mistake is that, um, yeah, practical experience is needed at that time,
Mm.
because when I was entering my working life, it's some things that, wow, it opens my eyes, like, oh, if I have more experience into internship before, or joining some communities, and being like uh, a mini CFO of that community, it will gain me a lot in terms of working. So it's something like that. And compared to my second ACCA certification, when I was taking in the stud when I was actually I'm actually working now, is that time management is my mistake. I've been past I've been past I passed my ACCA for 4 to 5 years. It's
Okay.
a long.
Okay.
So time management is very needed, um because I think I fail because I have a target, like in the 2 years I will be passing all of the exams, but because of my incapability in manage the time, trying to be focused on one thing, in one thing, that is to be an ACA member, is that I failed last time, because it's very difficult for me to be more focused in the studying when working also. So that's the thing, Miss Lavanya.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Novita. We have almost come to the end to our session. It was a great time having you as our speaker, and thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and experience of so many years in this industry. So, Miss Novita, before we end today's session, is there anything you want to share with the students, fresh graduates, even those who are in employment already?
I, okay, I think there are three words for me. The first one is be confident.
Okay.
That's the very basic thing that you need to have in a real working life. Even though in university, you must be confident because
Okay.
it's the the first ticket to be I think I can say not successful, but maybe to be survive and even successful in the real working life. So be confident. And the second one is that always have innovation thinking and
Okay.
always have a forward looking thinking, because nowadays there are lots of advanced technology that is coming in,
Mm.
so we have to be ready on that. You need to be unique, you need to be kind of expertise that hardly to be replaced by the technology as well for the by the others. So be innovation, liberate your minds, having innovation thinking to make it you to be forward looking in the future. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is that get networking, stay connected to people, stay connected to the internal, even though internal, for example, for the students internal university internal colleague, as well as outside the colleague, and be connected also to your senior in, yeah, at that already have an experience in the working life, so you can have a perspective on other people. So that gains you a lot. Even though like me now, I'm always connecting to my senior people. I'm still connecting to my previous superior, even though we are not working together in same company. So stay connected. So that's basically the three things.
Very, very nicely said, Miss Novita. I think confidence is all you need in anything you do, regardless of being a student doing an assignment. Anything you do,
Yeah.
you still need confidence. Thank you so much, Miss Novita, for your time. I really appreciate your time and also sharing with us all your wisdom. Thank you so much. I'm just wrapping up the whole thing. So we have covered a few questions today with Miss Novita, and Miss Novita is very, very experienced and phenomenal person in the finance industry itself. So if you want to get in touch with her, please do connect with her in LinkedIn. She's also very active. I'll also put the
Mhm.
link in the description below. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Till then, bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.